At NVIDIA, because Jensen Huang and company, they're going on all-out offense to defend their company's crown as the kings of AI. It's a $30 billion spending blitz aimed at squarely the next phase of the AI arms race, something called inference. We're here at the NASDAQ. Christina Partsinevelos is also here and has that story. I know you got some things, but what is inference in like layman's terms?
It's literally so let's say you're a doctor, you train, you go to medical school to become a doctor. That's the training part. The inference part is me saying, oh no, I got like broken tooth or a broken arm.
You go for a dentist for that.
Yeah, I know, because I had lipstick on my teeth, so you were just nicely telling me that. And so you're the doctor, you're providing the inference of the answer, which is the short version of it. But
so what's up with this spending blitz?
Massive bet, thank you, is making a massive bet to dominate the battleground in AI, potentially spending up to $23 billion to do it. In less than 4 months, the chipmaker has executed 2 major deals and is potentially pursuing a third, all focused on inference. So the technology that runs AI models after they're trained. Hopefully that doctor analogy worked. But first, in late December, NVIDIA closed its largest deal ever, around $20 billion for Grok with a Q. It's inference chip technology. They brought in its founder, Jonathan Ross, who also created Google's TPU chips. Those are their custom chips that did, very well in the most recent AI models, Gemini. Second, in September, NVIDIA paid over $900 million for Infabrica's networking technology that really helps connects AI chips, while also hiring its CEO and key staff. Third, NVIDIA is reportedly in advanced talks to buy Israeli AI startup AI-21 Labs for roughly $2 to $3 billion, according to local Israeli media. AI-21 only does about $50 million in revenue, but the deal values it roughly at $10 to $15 million per employee for their 200-person team, many who have PhDs. It's a pure talent play. NVIDIA declined to comment on that deal. NVIDIA owns roughly 90% of the AI training market, but inference is just fragmenting very quickly. Inference is cheaper to run, doesn't need the same horsepower nor the same memory, and so that opens the door for competitors. Google, Amazon, so many companies are trying to create custom chips. They're popping up everywhere. Although that AI-21 deal is not done just yet, the spending strategy is clear, and that is to lock down inference talent, especially talent and technology, before the competitors can.
Fair enough. And we don't know if they're overpaying for this stuff. There's a lot of great restaurants right around us here in New York. I could pay $30 for a plate of spaghetti or $200 for the same plate of spaghetti, and it doesn't mean it'll be any better. I wonder if they're overpaying. You don't have to address that, but we can address the stock price. Bring that chart back up. Here's the dirty little secret.
NVIDIA isn't just defending a crown, it's attacking preemptively. Over the last few weeks, NVIDIA has been linked to a torrent of inference-focused moves, a roughly $20 billion technology and talent deal around Grok's inference architecture, a $900 million buy-in for Infabrica's networking/superfabric tech, and reported talks to add Israeli NLP powerhouse AI-21 Labs for around $2 to $3 billion. The through line? A full-court sprint to own the tech, talent, and interconnect stack that runs AI models in production, the inference era. This spending blitz is not stray M&A, it's a strategic play for the next phase of the AI arms race. Investors and competitors alike see the pattern. NVIDIA is building a vertical moat for inference. And inference matters because while training grabs headlines, inference pays the bills. What's inference? Explained. Imagine AI models as doctors. Training is medical school, years of study, everything from textbooks to residencies. It's the heavy lifting. Inference is the doctor showing up when you stub your toe or chip a tooth. You tell the doc your symptom, they use their training to give you an answer right now. That immediate diagnosis? That's inference. It's how AI answers your chatbot questions, filters email spam instantly, or powers a language model to autocomplete your sentence in real time. You teach a chef to cook tons of dishes over months, training. Inference is the chef using that training to whip up a meal for you in 5 minutes when you're hungry. Training builds the skill. Inference serves the customer. Why companies pay for inference chips and software? Inference workloads are everywhere, on phones, in data centers, across edge devices, and they demand efficiency, low latency, and cheap operational costs. That's the commercial opportunity. Grok, $20 technology/talent deal. Late December reports described NVIDIA's massive licensing/technology/talent agreement structured around Grok's inference architecture, a move that brings in the architects of a popular inference-focused ISA and personnel who built key high-performance inference chips. The transaction is framed as technology licensing plus talent acquisition rather than a classic cash and control takeover. Analysts say the deal supercharges NVIDIA's inference play because Grok's architecture is specialized for low-latency, efficient inference. NVIDIA/Fabrica-like networking, $900M. NVIDIA reportedly paid about $900 million for Fabrica's networking and fabric technology and hired key executives. Why networking? Because inference at scale isn't just about chips, it's about getting data to chips fast. The fabric, the network that interconnects accelerators, is as strategic as the cores themselves. It's how you stitch small, fast chips into massive inference clusters. By the way, if you are finding this content resourceful so far and want more like this, like the video, it means a lot to me, or hit the subscribe button and comment the word more. Just go ahead and type the word more so I know. Now that you have commented, let's continue. AI21 Labs, Talent Plus Models, $2.3b talks. Reports say NVIDIA is in advanced talks to acquire AI21 Labs for roughly $2 to $3 billion, a move that would be a pure talent and model play. AI21's team is stacked with PhDs and is expert at LLMs and language engineering, exactly the folks you want if you're building inference-optimized stacks that serve billions of queries. The reported price tag is less about current revenue, AI21 is small revenue-wise, and more about concentrated human capital. Why all this together matters: chips plus fabric plus models plus talent equals an inference stack that can be optimized end-to-end. That's insanely valuable. You don't just sell GPUs, you sell an inference pipeline that enterprises can buy and deploy with predictable latency and cost. It's the difference between selling ingredients and selling a fully cooked meal with a delivery service. Are they overpaying? The TV anchor asked the question, is NVIDIA paying $30 for something you could have gotten for $5? The answer, maybe, but context matters. Buying talent and IP in an arms race often looks expensive because the strategic downside of not owning the tech can be catastrophic. It's like buying a Michelin chef and the secret recipe in a world where everyone else is opening pop-up restaurants. Paying for talent, even at premium multiples, can be rational if those people and IP materially change how your products compete for years. Still, skeptics point to price-to-sales ratios and caution that the market could over-assign value to unproven commercial scale. That's valid, you're essentially paying a premium for future monopoly rents. If those rents don't materialize, the markdown can be sudden. Why inference is different and opening the door to competitors. Training is heavy and centralized, inference is cheap and widely distributed. Important nuance: NVIDIA owns roughly 90% of the AI training market, especially for high-end GPUs. That's been the story for years. But inference is a different animal. It's cheaper to run, often requires less memory and less raw horsepower, and thus invites far more specialized architectures and competition from Google, TPU, AWS, Graviton, Trainium, Inferentia, Microsoft partners, and bespoke startups. The economics of inference, lower cost per query, scale across edge and cloud, means many players are trying to design efficient inference chips and offerings. That fragmentation threatens a single vendor monopoly unless NVIDIA adapts. This fragmentation is precisely why NVIDIA is spending to own the variety of inference approaches rather than letting customers patch together rival chips and fabrics. The company doesn't want to lose pricing power in inference the way it dominated training. Think of the AI economy like a restaurant chain. Training equals the flagship kitchen that creates the signature recipe, expensive, centralized, high expertise. Inference equals the franchise outlet serving dishes quickly and cheaply. Different neighborhoods prefer different tweaks. If you only own the flagship, you'll miss the local markets. NVIDIA is buying the franchise rights, the supply chain, and the local chefs, to control both recipe creation and quick service. That's why the Talent Plus Fabric Plus models purchases make strategic sense. What the market is saying, the real-time reaction. Initial investor reaction to these moves has been mixed. Some analysts see the Grok licensing and hires as bold and strategically necessary, a way for NVIDIA to cover possible weaknesses of GPUs in inference-heavy, low-latency workloads. Others warn about paying steep multiples for revenue-light businesses or talent acquisitions. Overall, these moves signal NVIDIA's willingness to sacrifice near-term cash for long-term dominance in inference, and the market is pricing both the opportunity and the risk. At the same time, Cnbc and other outlets are broadcasting that spending blitz story widely, which fuels the narrative momentum. When the CEO of NVIDIA tells the market he's buying the highway instead of renting lanes, headline momentum drives short-term flows. Apple and Google have TPU/ASIC efforts, Amazon runs Inferentia and Trainium in AWS, and Microsoft's Azure has its own partnerships. Several startups are designing inference-specialized chips tuned for specific LLM sizes or latency needs. This matters because inference is cheap enough and ubiquitous enough that lots of companies can try to capture slices of the market, and some will succeed. Which means NVIDIA must do more than just offer a great chip. It must offer integrated stacks, software, tooling, and the ability to plug into clouds and enterprise systems. That's where the Grok License Plus and Fabrica Fabric Plus model/talent buys combine to form a defensible offering. The stakes are huge. The future of who charges per inference query, and how much, hangs on this. And NVIDIA is on track to $5,000. Note this as well. Even with NVIDIA, there is something more you need. Fear not, I am the first and the last. Revelation 1 verse 17 is a call to trust in Jesus and fear not. If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead, or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the sewu of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, and in the presence of the Lamb. Revelation 14 verses 9 to 10. Want more information about this? Please check the description section. That's the end for now. If you have watched until the end, drop a comment like this: I stayed until the end. Just comment that I stayed until the end. When I see this comment, I will give you a heart. 3 more that I request from you. First, like this video, subscribe and then turn on the notifications bell. If you do this, you greatly motivate me to continue bringing to you relevant information. Do not miss out on my future videos. All I am imploring you for is your subscription. Thanks for joining us today. Your support means so a lot to us. Do share this video to inform someone who may benefit. Please do watch the next video, subscribe to the channel and share your insights about today's video. Wish you God's mercy and grace. Now is the time to prepare for eternity. See you in the next video by the mighty of Jesus our Lord and Savior.